Will this hold me? I just ate a hamburger too. And let's be honest, tots. Yes.
All right, we're back with the start of two projects. One is a functional project, the other one is purely cosmetic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just finished up the bedside table, which you can find the link for that down below in the description. But during that project, we got thinking about a couple other things that we could do with the scrap wood that we have here. The first one is out in our lanai, we have a little, what are those? Like a little drink fridge. Yeah, a mini fridge that is sitting on the tile. And the roof out there leaks when it rains, which is something that needs to be addressed. But it got me thinking we need to get that up off the ground so we don't have to worry about that potentially sitting in water. So Dustin had the idea to build a wood table with a cement top for it.
Concrete, yeah.
In addition to that, I also got to thinking about some ways I wanted to kind of jazz up the front porch, which we kind of hinted at in the last video. But we came up with a drawing of what we're going to create for out there. And we'll get into that more in a bit. But we're going to start these projects out by cutting everything for both projects at once so we can make the most of the resources we have.
Yeah, so as Stephanie said, we've got two different tables we're going to do here for y'all, and you can see if you want to try either one. But we actually are trying to be a little more organized with a cut list. So today we're going to be ripping with the table saw some boards to the proper width, and then Stephanie's going to be with the miter saw and cutting them to the proper length. So we're going to try and knock out a bunch at once, and then from there we'll have everything organized and we'll be ready for the next step.
And we've got some storms coming on the radar, so we're going to be going as quickly but safely as we can. Let's get started.
So what Stephanie's doing is she's cutting pieces that are 8 3/4 inches long. She got the first one cut and is using it for her template so that she doesn't have to use a tape measure. It's a lot faster after that. Then she marks her next piece and cuts. We also planned ahead where she'll be marking what these are for. Like we call these the 1A boards.
Okay. Nothing like cutting a bunch of wood outside in July in Florida in the middle of the day. But we beat the storm. I can see the clouds coming in right now.
We're nice and sweaty.
Yes. We got all the wood cut that we were trying to do. So all the pieces you saw here earlier, there was, I don't remember how many pieces. We ended up having to grab a couple others to make it work.
We'll put
in the description.
Yeah, just how many linear feet, like of 2x4s we use and everything, because we even used one 4x4 to cut it into 1x4s. We didn't have enough 1x4, so we ripped that down.
Which is a 4x4 Dustin's been guarding for a long time.
So I hated to give it up, but I did, hopefully for the good of the project. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so these are some of the supplies you need for doing the concrete. We're actually using a mortar mix rapid sets, and this is what we're going to use for the top of our table. We're doing an outdoor table with a simple frame with a concrete top. So with this one, never done this before. I usually use wood forms or melamine. I'm going to use this plastic. I'm not even sure what it is, but we'll use this plastic carrier. I'll clean it with some WD-40. Well, I already cleaned it. I'll wipe it down with WD-40 so hopefully the mortar mix does not stick to it. I've already in this bucket, put 4 quarts of water. You want to put the water in first before you dump the mortar mix in there. If I end up using the full bag, then I do have an extra quart if I need it. I've got another bucket over there to clean the tools. Got a mixer, mixing paddle, a really old Ryobi drill, but still works. So you want your drill on low speed so you don't burn up the motor. And then here's the really crazy thing is I bought these, Stephanie and I bought these bags of mortar mix honestly, say 2 years ago. We moved to Florida from Kentucky. They've made the trip and they sat out in our lanai. In Florida, as you can guess, it's really humid. That this is covered on the inside. This rapid set has plastic, which gives it a shot, but they've definitely hardened. So we're going to find out together here just how much mortar mix I can get out of this. So I'm going to bust it up a little bit because I can tell on the inside it's still soft. I'm going to try and get out as much as I can. Hopefully there'll be enough for the project. Once I get that all together, I'll get it mixed up. We'll pour it in here, mix it up, dump it in the container. If you have not worked with Rapid Set before, it says on the bag, sets up in 15 minutes unless you're using flow control. I'm not going to use any flow control for this one because we're really just honestly going by the seat of our pants on this one. But this is what I love about building. Just build something awesome. Go ahead and try different things. See what works for you. You can always redo it, change it up, but this is what we have at home right now. So this is what we're going to use. I do have a finishing trowel out, and I also have a small trowel, which I wish I had a bucket scraper. That's great for this. Don't have one right now, but this will help me get everything out of the bucket that I need. So I'm going to get this prepped up, wipe out the plastic insert with some WD-40. Then the trick is how much actually good mortar mix can I get out of here that hasn't hardened up. You can hear how hard it is. I split the bag open, but you can see that there is some soft material. I'd rather spray my rag than actually spray the plastic itself. But you definitely want to use this. We're using the WD-40, as I said before, as a release agent on this. If not, still, mortar mix does not stick to plastic so well, so it might come out okay, but I'm not going to try it. If you were doing wood, though, you definitely need a release agent. Hoping I can break this up and use most of it, at least half of it, because if I could use half of this and get some out of this bag, I should be able to come up with plenty for this project. I'm not even measuring out. I'm not going to go the whole thickness of this insert, or this tray, I should call it. As you could probably guess, that'd be about a 3-inch, and we do not need a 3-inch tabletop out there. I'm not going to use any metal for firming it up, anything like that. No rebar, no wire mesh. I'm just going to make this from 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick. Just pour it in there, see what we get. All right, Stephanie came out here and we're gonna redneck this one as much as we can. We've got some old chicken wire, and actually Stephanie had a good idea. If we double this up, it will in some shape or form be a sifter, and it should take out some of the larger pieces. I don't know how accurate this will be, but like I said, don't do this if it's for a client. This is definitely, hey, we've got this stuff, let's save the money. Normally, when you build a form, you'll build it so that you can screed the top flat. As I said, I did not want this to go all the way to the top because this is already going to be a thick, heavy-duty table. Honestly, I put more in here than I wanted to. This table is going to be about, tabletop's going to be about 2.5 inches thick, or 2 inches thick, I should say, but much more than is needed for this particular application, but that's okay. What you want to make sure you do as it starts drying up, I'm going to clean the top off a couple more times, and I'm literally dripping sweat into this. You can see my sweat puddles, but once I am done with this finishing trowel, You want to slow the curing process down just a little bit. I've got a bottle of water out here. Just lightly spray it. And honestly, you can, in about an hour, I could remove this, or I could try and remove this from the form, but I'm not going to. I'm going to let it sit overnight. It's not going to hurt it. And like I said, keep cleaning your tools off the whole time. This stuff will stick to them, and it will make it near impossible to get them clean later. Make sure that you keep trying to clean out any air pockets. I've seen a lot of people use basically some type of vibrating device. You can stick that in the middle, make sure it clears out all the air pockets. Like I've said before, this particular application, we're not looking for 100% precision. We want to kind of see how this turns out. But at the same time, we'd like it to not be total crap. So, while this sits for a little bit longer, I'm going to clean up some of my tools. Stephanie has been part of the cement behind the scenes, but so we poured this yesterday. We could have, with this rapid set material, we could have tried getting it out of here after an hour. We should have captured this better on camera, but at the end, I was dripping sweat. And as you all probably saw, but literally a couple of pockets, you know, it formed when the water hit the concrete. So Stephanie used a concrete brush and just brushed it, which is great if you're ever doing cement that you're going to walk on, because it makes it so you're not just going to slip. You don't want it to be so smooth. For a tabletop, smooth would have been fine. We're honestly kind of excited just to see what does the other side look like. This could be a complete disaster, or it could be awesome.
And it's heavy.
Yeah, that's true. We put a couple of scrap pieces of wood here because you don't want to crush your fingers. What we have to do is we have to pick this up. So for Stephanie's information too, and then our fingers have to be on the underside of this. We have to set this down, kind of, so I can move these a little bit wider. Because, okay, so like, imagine we're basically picking this up, flipping it over.
Will it fall out while we're turning it?
Probably, because I use WD-40. I'm going to be honest. I was not planning on it going this high. So, did I WD-40 up this high well? That's anyone's guess.
I've had it pulls away pretty easy.
Awesome. So it should pop right out. Actually, how heavy is this sucker?
It's heavy.
It is. It is pretty heavy. So,
what are you doing?
I'm just getting it ready for us. So, what I'm really going to do is make this a little easier on Steph. So, I'm just going to, no.
Why don't you take the knee?
So, if you were by yourself, okay, hold on, nice and gentle, like, you got your fingers under there, because I don't want it to fall, crack on your side either. It's coming, is it? Shake it on your side a little bit. Is it coming out on yours? Because it is on mine. Mine's at the bottom.
Oh, there it is.
There we go. So, oh look, Pizza Papa John's. I don't know what that looks like. Anyway, if you haven't had Papa John's pizza, it's really good. Okay.
Oh, I like the top of it.
Yeah, there are some little voids.
I actually the voids are really on the edge, which actually creates like a pretty little border on it.
Check this sucker out though. Yeah, isn't this? This came out awesome. I mean, there's some voids all around the corners, and I tried to tap that. Evidently, should have put a little mixer in there, especially because this was thicker than I planned. But I love how this came out. Honestly, the top is so flat, which now that we see this will be the top.
Yeah. Yes.
And with these voids, what we can do, if we want, is you can mix just a little bit of this mortar. We can rub it in, and then to sand it off, hand sand it. Don't use an orbital sander or anything like that when you're just filling in these little voids. Just like 220 or 300 grit sandpaper, kind of sand that off, and we can get rid of most of these voids if we so choose. So right now, man, I'm interested to see. So I did see, look, Steph, where we set it down, because that's okay. It's because this lip, there's a little lip on here that we're going to have to basically take the grinder to and clean up. And what I'll end up doing is probably going just along the edge to, I guess, round the profile over a little bit. But the top looks good. I'm really happy with it. Now we have to make the frame, and we're going pure minimalist on this. My goal was to use just little bits of wood, and I'm hoping we don't crush it with this heavy cement or concrete block now. So I might have to beef it up a little more than I had planned. So let's find out. Right now, Stephanie and I are just kind of going over roughly what this table is going to look like. So we know that our slab of concrete right here is about 16 inches, so just under. And I want the tops of each one of these legs to basically be holding up the edge. I'm also looking at having basically a piece run in between here. These are going to be cross-lapped, so we're going to take out a bit of each one of these so that they can fit together nicely, and we'll see what that all looks like. But Steph, if you can come over here for us to get a rough, I need you over here holding this. So we still have to sand the rough edges off of these legs. So the nice thing is, what we're doing with this, we're going to have 3X braces in here. So imagine one here, one here, one here. Then we're going to have a couple of cross braces that hold these together. And these should be strong enough because we're going to have 3 of them. So, like I said, we'll find out together. If it's not, that'll be a disaster. Yeah. But now what we have to do is make a template so that we get accurate cuts on each one of these. So we're going to work on that. Then we're going to get the for sure spots we want these. Then we'll mark these each one out with a pencil. And then I'm going to show you how to make the cuts on the miter saw.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do that.
Here's where we're at. Dustin's doing math, which I'm not good at, so I'm not doing that.
Apparently I'm not either.
To figure out the angles. Our miter saw only goes to a 45.
Mm-hmm.
So we're figuring out something about that.
Make 90 degrees. So the other side would be 30. So we're doing a cross lap joint where we're taking, this is an 1.5 inch thick material, so we're taking 3/4 of an inch out of each side. I'm going to have to clean this up with chisels. I don't have good chisels. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do a dry fit, kind of make sure that we're on target, and we'll, honestly, we got a lot of work to do, honestly, before we fit them permanently because we haven't even sanded these. Okay. So how we put this together is they're going to be glued, and then we're going to have a screw in the middle holding it. Really, for aesthetics, I would like to use a countersink bit so that once you screw it in there, you get the head of the screw below the wood. Then you can just put some wood filler on top. What we'll probably do is we'll use a small drill bit and then we'll use a slightly bigger, because I don't have a countersink bit, just so we can hide that screw head in there. And you want to remember, you've got a total of 1.5 inch material. So you don't want to use an 1.5-inch screw, or you're basically, especially if you're hiding the head, you're going to dig through. We're going to want to use 1.25 inches, or more likely 1 inch. So even when you're using your drill bit, mark it maybe with some tape, just so you don't go all the way through the wood. But what we want to do first is we want to use this, get our other ones set, and then we have a lot of sanding and everything to do. We got to clean out these joints where they connect on the inside with some chisels, and we'll go from there. What I need to do now is make sure that whenever I cut the cross notches out, that the wood is laying flat in there. So I see that this one's close, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. Same for this one. This one is going to take quite a bit of sanding, I can tell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some sandpaper by hand and maybe my Dremel out, clean these up, and I should be able to slide those in. Once I can, I'm going to go ahead and glue them, and then I'll let that set. So if you've never used a Dremel tool, really handy. Got lots of little different attachments. Got a little sander on here. They're round. That's the thing with this size, hard to get in the corners. So I'll probably use a flat square piece. Honestly, I love these Dremels for lots of things. Like, I'll do a lot of handyman work, and if I've got to work on like door latches or strike plates or anything, there's metal bits also that you can put in here, metal grinding bits. Take a little bit off. It's really handy. But like I said, this one is some sandpaper. Should take care of this wood for me pretty quick. All right, we're gonna let that dry. See how that comes out. All right, everyone. So I'm at the step now. The glue has dried on these cross lap X braces. It's nice and sturdy. What I'm going to do now is I had to do some measurements. I really need to do some sanding. Would have been a good idea for me to finish sanding these before I put them together. I had planned on that and then got ahead of myself. But what I'm going to do is I'm looking at either using these current braces that I had pre-cut, and I'll put them to the 30-degree cut so that they notch in here correctly. And then they create a nice brace. I'll glue them and put one screw in the top, which you won't be able to see once the concrete goes on. But what I'm trying to decide is, do I want to cut new braces that will go across higher to keep these taller, or do I just want to go ahead and cut these down? On my left here, these are much taller. Well, that is the way we design these cross braces. So what I have to do anyway is I have to use the level, mark out a straight line that's going to be nice and level for the table to go on, cut those, and have a nice flat point. From that, I will then measure, see if I like the height, see if it's low enough for my braces, or if I either want to lower it or if I want to cut new braces. So I'm going to get to work on that. All right, it's coming together now. So what I did is I cut 3 cross braces. Well, I guess first I should explain. I took the level, and on our first template one, I actually used the squeeze clamps right here. I got the level nice and level, cut that off so it was nice and level. Then I use that template to cut the other 2. Then I've cut down 3 braces that I'm going to glue and put 1 screw in. First, I'm going to make sure that I pre-drill. I don't want to split this wood. But then that's going to create a nice base for this concrete to lay on top of. It's going to distribute the weight a little bit more also. So it's going to hold the cross brace X together, the cross lap brace, I should say, together, and is going to distribute the weight. After that, I am going to put a couple of, I guess, I guess some attachment braces. I'm not really sure what I should call them, but basically in between each one. So I do need to get these sanded also. So I'm going to go ahead and do that work. I can see right now that this one particularly, I just got to take like, honestly, maybe a 30 seconds off of it and it'll drop down. I just don't want it really sticking up above each edge. So I will do that. I'll get these pre-drilled, glued on. We'll be ready to rock.
Okay, we're trying to decide now on the stain. You all know if you've watched us before how I feel about dark walnut and dark stain being my favorite. Dustin wants to go with regular walnut on this. I have to admit, after making the nightstand and he went with the natural and the butcher block, it's really pretty and I really do like it. And now I'm kind of thinking about making my nightstand to match that. But I just don't know if I can give it. So we have there's the base of it. There is going to be the cement top. The fridge that's going to sit on it is black and stainless steely looking. So I don't know, because this is just going to be sitting in the lanai. Well, maybe we'll just I'll let him do walnut. We'll see. The time has come. We're going to put the cement top on the bottom.
So the wood base is going to get its cement top now. We went through a few different ideas with this plan, to be quite honest. Everything from 2 sets of legs to not having these braces in between. Go ahead.
And this came out so much better than I originally thought when Dustin was telling me what it was going to look like. So I really like, because the legs are, I don't know the right word.
It's a cross lap joint.
Cross lap. So yeah, they're sitting into each other. But something about adding, like, originally it was just these X's, but something about adding the cross braces and these parts, like, I feel like really like brings it together more.
Well, it beefed the sucker up too. I mean,
which we needed.
Yeah, because
the top came out.
Yeah.
Probably twice as thick as you were going for.
Yeah. And we honestly just ripped some 2x4s, so these aren't like the thickest legs anyway. So definitely, I feel good about it now. But we're gonna have this support the concrete top and our mini fridge. So we want that to last long time. We weighed them.
Yep. We weighed everything we weighed everything to see how heavy it was. So these legs will be supporting about
90 pounds.
90 pounds.
When the fridge is completely full, it might be a little more than that, but it supported me, so it'll support that. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's put it all together. All right, what we're going to do here, the concrete top is nice and heavy. It's about 50 pounds. It's not really going to be sliding around, but we still want it to be adhered to the wood. We're just going to use adhesive. This is a adhesive sealant. Honestly, this is for kitchens and baths. It'll work, but it'll work for kitchen sinks, even on concrete countertops. So should be fine with this. We could have used liquid nails or another version. We're going with this one. I should have beforehand done the exact measurements. So when I set this on there, Stephanie knew exactly what I was looking for, because I don't want to set it on here and move it back and forth a bunch of times and spread this out too much. Like I said, I do not want it running on the side of the legs, but we'll figure it out. All right, so our fun little test to just build a really small table with limited amount of lumber to see if we could hold this has worked out great. This is definitely supported, like I had said before, about 90 pounds with the fridge and the top, and it's having no problem holding it up. It gave no give at all, and we like having it off the floor.
It is, yeah, that is really nice.
So a fun little functional thing for us. Like I said, we even used the concrete form that we had. We just found a piece of a plastic tray, built that in there. It's not the exact size. If I would have built the form, the fridge hangs off a little bit in the back, but we're okay with it. It's really sturdy, and we're happy. Another project done and then I'm happy with. What were you gonna say?
Yeah. So if we were going to use this as like a table between two chairs or something like that, or even just later, we would put a sealant on this, right? But
Yes.
we weren't doing that because we were just using what we had on hand.
Definitely. Yeah, Stephanie made a good point. Like, so I like to do one thing that I would do different, you know, if I was doing a project. I really like how the everything came out, but as Stephanie said, if I was using this for like a table between two chairs, a patio table, I would have cleaned up the edges a little bit of this top, and I would have definitely put a sealant on here. But for what this is for, nice and sturdy, happy with it. Anything you would have changed? No. All right.
Maybe the same color.
That's for next time. All right. Well, I guess another project on a wrap. So build something cool out of what you've got.